Hello there, Ray here, and Minecon from 2018 has just finished, and with it they have given out the announcement of 1.14 and what it's going to be about. So this year it's going to be about villagers and pillagers, that's the name of it, as well as a bunch of other things. In this video I'm going to cover everything that they have announced, as well as go over different little things that I've seen in the video and what this means to the technical Minecraft player as well as all vanilla survival players. The first thing that they showed is for 1.14 is they're going to give a revamp of the villages. So this is one of the villages that they showed. And you kind of see it changed quite a bit. There's a lot more detail as well as life. There's even farm animals. And you can see the building changes. I don't know if these trees are part of it as well, but you can also see the same in some of the old structures. Like here's the church structure. Houses look kind of same, but they change a little bit. Look, here's like a double door house. Here's like some open area, maybe like a barn. I think it's more like a actual, maybe like downtown or more like a townish area, sort of like a village. It's more of what you would imagine, like farm animals in a village, not just crops without farm animals. Here's another view. You can see like the houses have a little more decoration. And here you can see a house with the upstairs. It has two doors, which is kind of cool. And then they have a log here, and there's like maybe some kind of concession stands. And over here might be kind of a barn of some type, it looks like. Said they're going to redo each of the villages, so it's just like the biome in which they're in. So you probably see some that look kind of similar, will be completely unique depending on the biome. Here's a desert one. You can see they put a lot of different work into this. It made it more like a desert theme. Kind of see like your typical desert housing. First, it comes in with the bales and other stuff, and there's also cactuses and other little things that kind of bring a lot of life to it. Now, which is really cool about this image here, you can see that instead of having some cobble walls, they have some sandstone walls, which is really neat. The new textures I got on this look really good with the theme that they're building here. I think this is a nice way to kind of bring more depth into the game, because these villages are kind of take up a little more room, and you kind of see them from a little bit further out, and just kind of brings a little bit more of like life into the game. And as each of these will be in their own unique biomes, and maybe they'll even kind of move the villagers so they're able to kind of make their villages in a lot of different other biomes that they can't currently now. So maybe that'd be something to look forward to. Tons of different types of buildings that kind of go across the landscape. So it's not just completely landscape and you see more structures like this. So the next big thing that they announced is that the villager skins will change and they will be dependent on the biome in which their village is at. These villages here, they're in a plains biome, so their skin is more of the kind of brownish color, and we'll look at some other ones later. But I think this is really cool because not only that, they also made each individual villager have a unique skin. So probably you won't see like both the librarian and the cartographer sharing the same skin, but they'll have unique skins as well. Here's like a village that's in a desert. You can see that these guys' skin are more adapted to like being a desert climate. Here's a guy with a hat. I think all these guys got some type of hats on them protect them from the sun. It's more lighter clothing, so it's not so hot. And there's the Taiga guys. They're kind of cool too. They got kind of these like reefs on their heads and some other textures, which is kind of neat. I think it'd be really cool because especially with the different types of villages, it makes sense for them to have different types of clothing to go with their biome. They also show the cold variants of these villagers, so that means we're going to have some types of villages that are in the cold biome. So this is a cold taiga, or I believe they call it snowy taiga. And here you can see these guys are wearing some probably warm coats. I don't know if these would be like sheep wool coats or maybe wolf wool coats, but you can see them all in this white kind of stuff. Even the farmers, they kind of still look like farmers. You can see the different types of careers that these guys have. And this guy here, you can see in the back of him, he has a cape and has a creeper face on, which is kind of cool. To go with the snowy taiga, there's also just a normal taiga. Here's these variations of them. I don't know what this one here with the red hat on, what his occupation is. You can see they have similar coats. Maybe these are some kind of deer coats or something. They're keeping them warm, kind of on the taiga, which is a little bit rainy, less cold. And you see the farmers are even wearing some warm clothes, plus their little straw hats. The last one they showed here was some villagers that are in a jungle, so that means there's going to be a jungle village, and that's going to be pretty cool. I even show some ocelots in there. I don't know if that's going to be part of it as well, but their clothing looks pretty cool. It looks like they have like this leopard clothing, so I don't know if they killed the ocelots to get their clothes or what. And this guy here has an eye patch. That's kind of cool. But this also means we have a whole bunch of different types of villagers to collect, because I'm guessing there's going to be also some zombie variations of these villagers. I don't know, but that's going to be a lot. This last couple days, we've been collecting a lot of different types of mobs on ProtoTech, trying to collect them all. And we've been going after some variations of zombies and stuff. And wow, we figured out there is a ton of different types. So I don't know if they're going to have zombie variations of these, but just collecting these alone would be a lot of different mobs to collect. We're going to have a lot of fun trying to acquire all these for 1.14. So pretty much we're going to have a village and every single biome that's going to be specific to that biome, with those type of materials being used to build their houses, as well as those villagers are going to look like that biome, which is pretty cool. So it's going to bring a lot of life to the game. They also said that the villagers are going to be more intelligent, They're gonna have like a routine schedule, like they're gonna work on their crops for so long and then they're gonna go do something else. Maybe they all go up for a meeting at one time or something. And they also mentioned that they're going to go ahead and change the villagers' trades. So I don't know if they're going to just add to them or remove some as well. But that's always kind of a scary thing when they start talking about changing the trades. There's always some trades that people like, and if they remove them, then people will be disappointed. Hopefully they'll add in some really cool trades, and if they do remove trades, that they replace them with something else that's similar to it. I think it would be cool if they had like some biome-specific trades. So like maybe these guys can do something with some sand, or maybe cactuses, or maybe bushes. Stuff they have kind of around the area, and then the other different biomes can sell different stuff in their area, or maybe they even buy stuff. That way you kind of feel like you go to a specific biome to go to these certain villagers to get a certain thing, and I think that'd be really cool. So next big change that they talk about is adding pillagers. So they got the villagers, they got the illagers, and now there's a new mob called the pillagers. Now these guys do, as their name suggests, they pillage villagers, which is kind of funny. And here you can see these guys, they're kind of like illagers. I'm guessing maybe it changed textures a little bit, so you kind of tell the difference. They are wearing some kind of rugged gear and they're wearing a belt. And most noticeably is this beast that they're calling. They're calling this a pillager beast. And this thing kind of reminds me of like a rhino, maybe like a wildebeest or something of that type. And this thing is going with this pack, and these guys go together and they pillage villages. What you also notice about this clip is that these guys, the pillagers, are coming in here with these crossbows. So it's a new type of weapon that they're introducing into the game. And this beast right here, he's actually has a saddle on top. So maybe you can even tame him and ride him. It did say that this beast is very tough and very hard to take down. It looks like he's wearing some armor, so it kind of makes sense. And maybe it's possible you can tame them, or maybe that's just for them. Maybe later on they'll add so that when the pillagers will be able to ride on top of this and go into battle. It's more like a slaughter than a battle. So I'm guessing these guys will probably spawn similar to like a zombie siege, and they might spawn outside of it. And then they like come in as a group and they kind of terrorize the village. Here you can see these guys are shooting their crossbows at the villagers, and this beast himself is actually hitting them as well. And he also tramples the crops. So they don't really do any damage to the actual structures, but they do destroy the crops and the villagers. One big thing about this is that already villagers are pretty weak and they don't really take care of themselves. So it's very strange that they would introduce this without introducing something to help the villagers out. So I'm forecasting that they'll come in and somehow add something that the villagers can have that will help them. Probably even stronger than like the current iron golems, which are pretty useless and don't normally generate with the villagers. So yeah, I feel like they're gonna have to add something to make it so these villagers will actually survive. Maybe they start out with a wall around their place or something. But villagers are not gonna be able to sustain zombie normal spawns as well as zombie sieges, as well as these pillager sieges that are coming in and attacking them. Now, they did mention that the player needs to come in and try to secure the village to protect them, but this is just way too much. Already it's too hard for players to come into a village and it turns night, and then there's zombies come around, people are trying to block them into their houses. It's just a little too much. In this clip here, you can see that they have some of these pillagers climbing over some of these hedges. They're going after some of these villages. The villagers are running away from the pillagers. So now zombies can take down doors if these villagers would go inside of their houses. I'm guessing pillagers probably won't be able to remove the doors. So maybe they'll just sit outside and the villagers will just sit inside. And I don't really know what would happen at that point. I feel like that might be kind of like a stalemate, and maybe they'll have to do something to try to interfere with this, because the pillagers most likely won't burn up in the daytime, as they have shown it being daytime when they're pillaging. So he talks more about this crossbow, as you see here in this clip, and it is a weapon that's similar to the bow that can be crafted up, and it can be loaded up with arrows, but it takes longer for it to load those arrows up. You also see it can be enchanted right here. They also said one of the enchantments will be multi-shot, where you can shoot multiple arrows with one shot, and you can see this nowadays as well with crossbows, so that's kind of cool. They also said that one of the other enchantments will be allow you to be able to pull it back faster, so that's pretty cool. And they also mentioned there'll be one more enchantment to go with this, but they didn't tell you what that is. So it looks like the crossbow is a pretty cool weapon. We don't know how easy it's going to be crafted up. I'm guessing it's going to be maybe some iron and some other stuff into it as well. I think it's going to be pretty cool to give people more options to have a ranged weapon. In this clip here, you can see them using the multi-shot enchantment, which shot out these three arrows, and they're all going through the air, kind of spread out a little bit, and they're going after these three different mobs. And that allows you to pretty much hit more mobs. It would be nice in like hitting large groups of mobs at once. They also show that it's possible to shoot out rockets out of this crossbow, and the rocket will fly quite far, and it will turn into a rocket and explode. Another thing they mentioned is that the crossbow will allow it so it can shoot out arrows similar to like the bow, but they'll be able to shoot farther. So that's an advantage that you can use with the crossbow. And as I talked about in the previous video, I think this is kind of the way that they're trying to introduce something that allows each community to have something to work with. So it's having like the crossbow will give something kind of that the PvP community can be excited about. Now, I said that we'll be getting the villagers and pillagers early next year, so probably around in January sometimes, but they will be giving snapshots that come out even earlier than that. It might be kind of difficult for them to meet that deadline, but you can see that in this update there's not that much, but then again, with the villagers, there may be problems with the villagers and pillagers like the AI and stuff like that, especially if they're going to try and make villagers more intelligent. It might be some lag that goes along with that. Also, hopefully they'll also try to take on the lag with 1.13 with this update. They mentioned prior to having the official release of the Villager and Pillager, they're going to give out some new features, and that's going to be cats. So they're going to separate cats from ocelots. Cats are going to be their own mob. And here they have reskinned them, and they also introduced some more. There's going to be a total of 9 different types of cat skins that you can get. And they also are allowing the players to choose what will be the ninth one. So it's a question mark. So they're going to have an event where they're going to give people opportunity to try to suggest cats their own, and maybe a storyline to go with your cat. And then maybe your cat will be chosen to be the ninth cat. I think it's pretty cool that they're getting the community involved and choosing what will be the last type of cat skin. I do have a cat of my own, or used to, and I think I may even introduce my cat into this contest because my cat has a pretty unique story, which I'll tell you guys more about when the time comes around. They also mentioned that cats will be able to go out and get you certain things and bring them back to you. It is said it's not diamonds that they're going to bring back to you, but more of the cat type of thing. So I'm guessing maybe they'll go out, catch some fish, or maybe they'll introduce mice and they catch like a mouse or something. Somewhere around those lines. You kind of think of cats, in real life, something they go out and grab stuff and they bring it back to your house or whatever. I'm guessing that's the kind of thing that they're trying to mimic in this situation. They also said that these cats will be around villages and they'll be kind of wild and you can tame them up to be your pets. And those will bring you some morning gifts, being those cool things that we don't quite know what they're going to bring you yet. They also mentioned that cats are able to scare away phantoms. Next big thing that they talked about was scaffolding, and the scaffolding was going to be made out of bamboo. The way that scaffolding would work, it allow you to work on your different buildings more easily instead of having to place like big dirt piles or your slimestone. I always use slimestone for scaffolding. But with these scaffolding blocks, it's going to be more specific. They said that they're going to allow the player to be able to place them down and be able to climb up them really quickly. So I'm guessing kind of like a ladder speed, climbing up the side of them, getting on them. And then also say when you want to tear them down, you just break down the lower layers and the whole scaffolding falls down. Now with scaffolding, they're made out of bamboo, and that's what this image here shows. Shows bamboo spruits growing up inside of a jungle. And of course with these bamboo forests, there's going to be pandas. So it looks like the bamboo forest will be growing up inside of jungles, and the pandas will be able to spawn in the jungles. They show this clip here of this baby panda sneezing out this green stuff. I don't know if that's something typical of baby pandas. But anyway, it was pretty funny. And you also see the image of the actual item of the bamboo sitting here as well. This image here, you can see that the adults are eating on the bamboo. Here's one laying on its back. And over here, you can see that there is some, looks like shoots of bamboo. They're just still small. They also mentioned that the pandas will kind of have unique behaviors. So this one here is like an angry panda, and then some will be like a lazy panda or like a playful panda. And maybe like the one we've seen sneezing will be like maybe like a sneezing panda, kind of similar to like the Smurfs, how they have unique personalities. That way, if you do get a panda, maybe they're tameable. It kind of sounds like that because they mentioned when you do get a panda that you'll feel like your panda is a little bit unique because it has a special personality. They mentioned one of the pandas will be a brown panda, which I guess is going to be quite rare, and that should be kind of a fun, kind of cool, rare mob to try to go out and find and possibly even tame. During the live stream, they had the voting going on to see what type of biome would be taken on as their next project to spruce up. And as you can see, it is the Taiga biome. Yeah, so pretty much they just kept voting until they were only left with one, and the Taiga one won by quite a bit. It seemed like all throughout the stream, every time they voted, Taiga was way ahead. A lot of people wanted the Taiga to be updated, so looks like they're going to work on stuff like the foxes, as well as like the bushes with the berries and the campfire sites and maybe even the fallen logs. That would be really cool. Also, it kind of makes you think they must have made one of these little scenes for each of the biomes, depending on which one they thought was going to win, or maybe they knew all along. So it will be really interesting to see what else they introduce. If you guys want to participate in trying to help them come up with different stuff, this is a time where you want to go ahead and kind of figure out what type of things should be going into the taiga biome, and then go ahead and saying that kind of stuff in like the comments or like on Reddit, or make a video about it, or tell you like on some forums. So the developers can kind of see what type of ideas are out there so they can kind of choose from them. And once they do come out with snapshots to do with the Taiga, that's the time to go ahead and give them more information on it. As well as everything else we showed, be sure to go ahead and give feedback on all the different stuff, like they asked for a name to go with the pillager bees, as well as villagers, and give all your feedback on that. I'd love to hear what all you guys have to say about this update 1.14. It looks like a really interesting update. Maybe they'll even knock out some really bad bugs while they're working on it. That way we can actually play the game as we would love to, without having to have tons of lag and other stuff like that. We got a lot to look forward to in the Village and Pillage update of 1.14, which should be pretty cool. Also, you can see there's going to be quite a bit of different farms that you can produce. Maybe you can try to farm up these pillagers. I wonder what type of drops they will give you. Maybe they'll give you like the crossbows, even like the huge beast. I'm sure he'll give you something pretty cool. And maybe he'll be able to be tamed up, which would be cool to have this huge beast running around. I don't know if there's any mob that's similar in size to him, but I think that's pretty cool to have that big thing. Maybe even if he could be able to destroy some blocks, that might be something that they could add with him. And with the villagers having new trades, it's gonna be fun going ahead and going through all these different types of villagers and finding some really nice ones. Maybe they'll have perfect trades as they do now, and we'll have to go through maybe hundreds or maybe a couple hundreds of different type of villagers and their trades just to find some really cool ones, which should be really nice. We can make farms that try to take advantage of this. And as they show that crossbow, they can shoot at rockets. Rockets do damage to mobs and players, so maybe you can like launch that rocket at somebody and blow them up. If you have like one that has like 3 durability, that could be cool. And also you've seen that the bamboo is growing, so we can easily make some bamboo farms. It looks like they might be similar to like sugarcane, but they might be like a tough block, not as easily broken as sugarcane, so you might have to break them by the player, which should be fun to make those type of farms as well. Giant pandas will probably not drop anything useful, but they do kind of look like a nice mob to have around, maybe even in a zoo. But like all mobs in Minecraft, I hope they have more uses than just like our polar bears, which are pretty useless. Now they did talk about trying to remove the 1.13 lag that we all know about in 1.14, so hopefully in the snapshot we start seeing them trying to push towards that as well. But overall, I think 1.14 is pretty interesting, and I think there's a lot of different features that can be added to it, especially maybe they can push in some quality of life updates as well inside there. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this, as well as all your ideas about these different things and what they can do about them, and any features that you think they should add in that's kind of along the same themes as this. So I want to thank you for watching, and if you found this interesting, show me the like and share this with others. If you'd like to see more stuff like this in the future, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to get notifications, and tell me you guys' opinions down in the comments. Bye bye!